So I hit 10K per month when I understood these few things I'm going to share to you within this video. Most people in the make money online space will never ever hit 10K per month because they don't understand this single thing. When I started out, I was struggling extremely hard because I just had the wrong mindsets, the wrong beliefs, the wrong environment, and just the wrong friends. In this video, I'm going to share with you the exact key pillars that you need in your life in order to really hit 10K per month and go beyond that. Because like I was saying, this is something so many people struggle with. So make sure to pull a pen and paper out and take some notes. Number one thing I want you to understand is environment is everything. Now, environment can be, where you hang around, your house, your hometown, the country you're in, even for example, the people you're around, your parents, anything you interact with on a day-to-day basis, right? So for example, me, it's my best friends, in the other rooms. It's this penthouse, it is Miami, it is just this right here. Now, most of you guys watching this are still living with your parents, and I can tell you one thing. When I used to live with my parents, I could not scale. Okay, I just could not make it happen. It was so difficult to detach myself from my old identity because, newsflash, your old identity, the person you've been maybe for the past, however old you are, 20 years, 19 years, 18 years, 16 years, doesn't make any money. That's just the reality, right? And like even me, like a year ago, I wasn't making any money, so I can't be the type of person. Now, what happens is if you always stay in that old environment, that environment is attached to your old identity. So meaning if you never switch your environment, so meaning if you never leave, you will always be stuck. And I know this sounds kind of disappointing, but just think about it. The version of yourself that has been living with your parents for your whole life, does that person have the skills necessary to make $10,000 a month? The answer is most likely no. So why would you stay the same person if you can just change? Doesn't really make any sense, right? And I'm telling you, it sounds pretty simple, but it is really actually that simple. If you go to a new city, if you go to a new country, you become a new person. This is what happened to me so many times. This is why I'm such a big advocate of just traveling, meeting new people, meeting just new places, because you constantly switch personalities, which can be a good and bad thing at the same time. But if you're starting out and you're trying to really make it happen and you're trying to make it, then it's definitely a good thing. So if you're just starting out, bro, book a plane ticket to somewhere cheap. Fuck it, go to Thailand, go to Bali, somewhere where you don't have to like spend a ton of money, you don't have a ton of overhead, and just stay there for a month. That I can guarantee you will become a new person. And that person, is more like to actually make money, because in those environments you can meet billionaires. I had a friend who went to Thailand and he actually met a billionaire there. Even though it's pretty cheap, some people still go there with a lot of money. So definitely worth considering. So you need to do this. So you need to switch your environment. This is super important. This is the base thing. Now, another thing you need to understand is also frequencies. So everything you do, everything you interact with has a frequency. So same thing here. Your old hometown has a frequency. Probably it's a poor frequency. There's no wealth usually in hometowns, especially except if you're from Dubai, if you're from Miami, if you're from New York, right? But more likely than not, your old personality has a low frequency. And so frequencies are like a upward as well as downward spiral. If you're always doing positive stuff, if you're always doing, making money, you're always improving yourself, you're always going to the gym, you're always meeting new people, that's like a positive upward spiral, and you will always spiral up and you will always make more progress. Now, on the contrary, if you're doing the exact opposite, you're going to be going downwards, like let's say taking drugs, watching porn, doing all these bad things, hanging around dead people, gossiping, stuff like that. That's low frequency activities, and you just feel shit afterwards. Like, do you ever go to, I don't know, like Burger King or McDonald's, you eat there and you feel like shit afterwards? That's because it's low frequency food. It's just shitty food that is just made out of processed stuff that is not even meant to be in your body. So I'm telling you, everything has a frequency. If you hang out with people and you feel shit afterwards, those are low frequency people, and it's a sign for you to leave them and find new friends. And this really ties into the next thing. It's just really understanding that mindset is everything. Like, if you can't think straight, if you can't control your mind, and you're always acting irrationally, you're always acting super impulsively, and you're always like, if you just can't think strategically, like, you will not make it very far. So this sounds like super cliche, but mindset is really the 80%. So this sounds extremely cliche, but mindset is actually the 80% here, okay? Now, when I say mindset, like, what I mean. So first of all, it's your, mental models. How do you think? How do you approach problems? How do you approach, setbacks? How do you approach when you, don't want to do the work, It's stuff like that you just have to have dialed in, right? I'm not talking about, doing affirmations the entire day. Obviously that can work if you do it the right way, like for example, subliminals, which I won't go into now, but you need to have just the right mental models installed in your brain. Because at the end of the day, that's the only thing you have. Like, if everything gets stripped away from you, let's say you lose your house, let's say you lose your friends, let's say you lose all your money, how do you approach those things? And so that's how I realized that your mind is really everything you have. That's everything you own at the base level, right? So one thing that helped me quite a lot is reading the book Psycho-Cybernetics. Really goes into it how, habits are formed, how your mind works, and how to really implement new things into your life to change your life for the greater good. So I would highly recommend to give that book a read. So changing your environment as well as taking mindset extremely seriously is like the base thing you need to have dialed in before you can even like start working on your business, right? If these two things are not dialed in, like just forget everything I'm just gonna start talking about now, okay? I'm gonna assume now that you have these things dialed in. Change your environment and take mindset extremely seriously, have the right mental model. Now, as far as actually business-wise goes and like what to work on and all that stuff, one thing that propelled me forward so much and really boosted my progress is outsourcing low leverage shit, okay? Most business owners are freelancers, okay? Most business owners do everything themselves in their business. They don't outsource everything. They want to hoard all their money. They're frugal. They don't want to pay any employees because they think, oh yeah, I can just do it myself. But it's just the wrong way to think about it, because those few hours it might take you to do this one task, you could pay someone, I don't know, like a few $100. They can do it for you, and you can focus your time that you would spend on that thing on other things that can make you even more money, right? So most business owners don't even understand leverage. They just think, oh, let me just do everything. Let me just keep all the money. Let me just kind of cut expenses, keep profit, and kind of just do this. Makes sense. I can see why they think so. It makes sense, and I can see why they think that way. But in most cases, if you're trying to really become a real business owner and really kind of get to the next level, which in most cases it is just going from 0 to 10K per month, then you need to, outsource low leverage shit. Even when I was making no money whatsoever, I thought to myself, so I'm doing outreach. I don't want to be doing outreach. That's stupid. Like, why would I do that? I'm the business owner. I should be working on meaningful stuff, like getting clients, delivering a service, doing all these important things. Why would I cold call myself? That's stupid. Like, I'm just a renowned VA at that point. I'm just a virtual assistant at that point. Like, I'm not really a business owner, right? So what I realized is I need to hire people who do that work for me, so I can actually focus on like taking sales calls, things that are higher leverage, right? At my level now, taking sales calls is low leverage because I should be working on even higher leverage things. Like, for example, we're creating videos like this, working on, my product in the actual coaching program and stuff like that. I shouldn't be on sales calls, explaining how good I am, because I can have someone else do that for me. At my level, I have to work on things that I can't outsource, which is, for example, taking coaching calls and stuff like that. So my number one advice to anybody watching this that is still cold calling themselves, quit that shit right now. Hire setters, outsource that, and only take the sales calls and deliver service. Like, realistically, in an agency, the only thing you should be working on is, working on getting clients. This does not include cold calling, right? Getting clients here means taking sales calls, right? You should be focusing on delivering a exceptional service and getting more clients. Those are the only 3 things you should be really working on. And you can probably even tie the first and last point into one. Getting clients, getting these clients good results, and retaining them, right? If you want to put it that's 3 points for you. So get some setters for your outreach, my friend. So let go of the greed, my friend, and get some team members. Now, this doesn't mean that you should hire everything out at the start. That doesn't really make any sense. You should be smart about this. For example, with appointment setters specifically, I didn't pay them per hour. I didn't have the money for that. So what I did is, whenever they set an appointment and I went to close that appointment, that's when I actually paid them. So that's leverage again. Because if you pay them per hour, they're going to be incentivized to, waste time, work slowly, as opposed if you pay them, per appointment you close from the appointments you set, incentivize them to book you good appointments and skip the bad ones and work efficiently. Here again, that's leverage. And what you'll find a lot of times is, and when you're doing all these things and you're working on your business and you're progressing and you're growing and all that stuff, always ask yourself, what would my version of myself that does 10K, 20K, 30K, whatever your goal is, would they cold call themselves? Probably not. Like, realistically, I will probably have to never, ever cold call in my entire life. So ask yourself, would the version of myself that makes 100K per month cold call, or would they build a team around this outreach method to do the work for them? And I think the answer is pretty obvious. And in most cases, the answer is going to be pretty obvious, and you'll know exactly what to work on. So if you can detach yourself from your current identity and the person you are currently, and align yourself with the version of yourself that already makes 50, 100K per month, insert your goal here, then you will just automatically track that goal. Because think about it logically, if you go through your life and you always ask yourself, what would the version of myself that makes 100K per month do? Would they eat this ice cream? Would they eat healthy? Would they have a cheat meal every single day? In every single area of life, would they, outsource this part of the business? What would they focus on in the business? If you just always ask yourself this question, what the version of yourself that makes 100K per month would do for the specific thing you're working on, you will hit the goal as a byproduct, because you're taking the right actions. You're taking the actions that the 100K per month version of yourself is taking. So why would you not hit it? It just makes sense. And when you're doing this, one important thing you have to watch out for is, one important thing too is, never ever put your goal on the pedestal. What are you communicating to the universe if you put your goal on the pedestal? You're saying, I don't deserve this. This is too much. I shouldn't be having this. And if you put it into words now like this, doesn't make any sense. Why would you say that? And what I'm about to say is going to sound very controversial, but compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to people that do better than you. Don't compare yourself to someone who's homeless. Don't compare yourself to someone who's making 2K per month. Compare yourself to someone who's making 100K per month, who has the same age as you. That's gonna push you so much further ahead. That's gonna really put a fire in you because you wanna just be better, okay? So comparison is a good thing. And one thing you just have to also have as a good business owner in general is you can't be thinking short term. If you're always chasing the quick bag, let me make a few bucks here, it makes sense because you're at the start broke and you want to make some money quickly, but you can't afford to think this way. What I was doing at the start, when I had no money whatsoever, I was thinking, how can I make the best product ever? How can I have a product that guarantees results? How can I have an offer that is so good that someone would be, feeling stupid if they would have said no to me? Because as a business, ultimately, the only thing you have is your product. Like, you don't have anything else. Like, the thing you're selling is your business, right? So why would it not make sense to make sure that your thing is the best on the entire market? Because if you make sure that your product is just the best and it's the only thing you focus on, you will get clients on autopilot because everybody wants the best thing. And I see so many people just missing this part, but this is so fundamental if you want to really, make progress, because I see so many people missing this part. Me personally, I don't care about making money. I don't care about making 100K one month. I care about really retaining the money. I don't want to be on the hunt every single month. I want to make sure that I build something that is going to make me money for, months and years to come, right? And the way you do this is just by making sure that you have the best thing out there. And let me tell you one thing, I know that it might seem like kind of pointless if you're starting out to kind of have the best product, but you have to be able to think long term here. Because there was this one story with Jeff Bezos, I think. He lost, with Amazon, he lost money for 10, 15 years straight, didn't make a single dollar profit. The reason he did that is because he undercut every single competitor in the entire market. So he was always the cheapest. So what happened is all his competitors went out of business for like 10, 15 years straight. And after all those years, he was the only one standing. That's when he upped his prices. And that's when he actually, started to make billions and, became one of the richest people in the entire world. And why did he do that? Because he was thinking long term. Now, are you gonna do this for the next 15 years? Probably not. I'm not gonna be running this SMA for the next 15 years because in 15 years, who knows what we're gonna have, Like, it's gonna probably be replaced by some other business model or some AI, whatever. Like, probably in 10 or 15 years, Facebook ads won't be a thing anymore. Outreach, probably will be a thing, but, in a different way. Cold calling probably is going to be around, but maybe also in a different way. We have AI callers nowadays. Like, it's going to change so much. But if you can just think in years instead of months, like I'm telling you, this is going to help you so much. And I'm saying this as someone who's only been in the agency space for like 2 years, besides with my current agency. And my current agency is less than a year old and it's made me hundreds of thousands. And that is just simply because I focused on becoming the best in the entire market, having the best product, having the best outreach, having the best ads, and that's where it got me. So I kind of just leaked my sauce here and leaked my secrets. But I don't care if it helped someone, I achieved my goal and I did my job here. These are a few things that if you implement, you will make a fuck ton of money. Like I'm guaranteeing that. So I would highly recommend to have that implemented too. And so I know this is kind of a different background than normally. I actually just moved into this Miami penthouse. It's pretty cool. I can like show you the view. It's one of the best places, probably the best place that was available in the building for rent. And when we wanted to get one, let me just show you what the view is. It's probably also one of the best buildings in the entire in the entire Brickell. Let me show you what we have going on here. So look at this. This is pretty fucking dope. We're super high up, almost top floor. Whoops. And I was able to get this just because I started my SMMA. So if you want my help to start your own SMMA, do what I did, move to Miami, move into a penthouse with your best friends, rent supercars, all that stuff, then just go into the description. There's gonna be a type form you can fill out, apply to work with me, and if you're good fit, then someone from my team will reach out to you and get you on a call and see what we can do. So besides that, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.